for the day, the triple story. I don't know. I'm just mimicking him. But anyway, let's jump into it. 100,000 supporters turn out for annual March for Life. USA Today reports more than 1,000. CNN, NBC completely ignores it. So a bit of a discrepancy there. More than 1,000. Well, I suppose technically they're not lying, but 100,000, 1,000... Yeah. Anyway, let's jump into it. Update. We've changed the main photo of this article was incorrectly labelled as having been from the March for Life. An estimate of 100,000 people, including Vice President Mike Pence, gathered in DC on Friday for the annual March for Your Life. Sorry guys, had to cough. The media, as always, is either outright ignoring the massive march or severely downplaying the impressive size of the crowd. USA Today, the first result when you search for march in Google News, began their story by saying more than 1,000 anti-abortion activists, including many young people bundled up against the cold weather, gripping the national capital, gathered at a stage on the National Mall Friday for their annual march in the long, continuous debate over abortion. So, you know, no narrative there. While technically correct, as 100,000 is more than 1,000, it's immensely clear what the newspaper was attempting to do, which is painstakingly obvious. They're trying to downplay the crowd because they don't want people to realise that abortion is unpopular. So, yeah. Someone wrote on Twitter, I can't even see the end of the crowd. This is unbelievable. You might be the largest march of our life crowd ever. Why we march, unique from day one. Okay. Jack Wasobik, massive peaceful crowd at March for Life today in DC. Will CNN show this? Of course not, because they completely ignored it. By noon on Friday, CNN had not published any story on the march. So the theme of this year's march is pro-life is pro-science. I don't understand that, but okay, whatever. The event has been headlined by Daily Wire founder Ben Shapiro. The March for Life in Washington, D.C. has been held on or near the anniversary of Roe v. Wade every year since 1973 and is the largest pro-life event in the world. Vice President Pence was not announced as a speaker, but showed up in the afternoon. That is pretty cool. The mission of the march is to end abortion by unity, educating, and immobilizing pro-life people in the public square. So Mike Pence surprises March for Life crowd and induces Trump's message. So, Vice President Mike Pence surprised the massive March for Life crowd in Washington, D.C. Friday, supporting life and introducing a message from President Donald Trump. Hello, America, Pence began with his wife at his side. It's a joy for us to be with you today. My wife is many things, the Vice President continued. She's a mother, she's an advocate. Go away. For military families, she travelled across the country. She's even an art teacher at a Christian school. And I couldn't be more proud of our second lady, my wife, Karen Pence. We gathered here today because we know we still have much work to do, said Pence. We urge you to stand strong, stand with your love and compassion as you stand for life, and know that we will stand with you until that great day comes, where we restore the sanity of life to the center of American law. He said it was an honor to address the March for Life crowd, but it was a high honor and distinct privilege to introduce a message from President Donald Trump. The president spoke to the dignity of every human life and beauty and human soul seen in the eyes of newborn children and majestics of God's creation. We know that every life has meaning and every life is worth protecting, said Trump. He pledged to always, as president, defend the right to life and enshrined in the Declaration of Independence. He recalled reinstating the Mexico City policy and protecting groups like the Little Sisters of the Poor. President Trump said he's supporting moving the Hyman Amendment through the U.S. Senate to prevent taxpayer funding of abortion in spending bills. In a letter to Congress issued Friday, he said he will veto any legislation that weakens the protection of human life. He added that he has the support to uphold such vetoes. Every child is a sacred gift from God, said Trump. Each person is unique from every day one, he said, referencing the 2019 March for Life theme. Video footage shows Pence and his wife, Second Lady Karen Pence, arriving at the march, which is, just them turning up in the march. And then, obviously, Donald Trump addresses the March for Life, vows to veto pro-abortion bills, which we've just basically read, but just retouching on it. Today, I've signed a letter to Congress to make clear that if they send any legislation to my desk that weakens the protection of human life, I'll issue a veto, Trump said, and we have the support to uphold the vetoes. But yeah. And I'll put a link to that if you want to read the whole thing, but it's basically what we've just read. So look, at the end of the day, I am generally against abortion when it comes to unprotected sex. If you've, for example, and my favourite saying, taken a gangbang over the weekend and got pregnant, then you should raise the kid. I am against abortion when it's like that. I can make exceptions, for example, if the girl was raped, if it was like, for example, she was like raped on walking home or something like that from a sexual assault, or if it's going to be deformed, like for example, if it was like born with Down syndrome or medical facility or some sort of disadvantage or something like that. I'm generally against abortion when it is just because it's inconvenient, because you should put a condom on. So that's your price to bear. That's your cross to bear. Especially with birth rates falling across the West, I think abortion is largely responsible for that. But yeah, I don't want to get rid of abortion per se because of those circumstances. But I do think that we do need to wind back this liberal policy of everybody has an abortion. Yippee! Let's celebrate it. Like for example, on last year. I think that was absolutely disgusting. And not only does that not make me want to support you, it actually makes me want to say, well, hang on, maybe I'm on the wrong side of this debate. So thank you for red-pilling me on the effects of abortion, I suppose. But yeah, like I say, look, at the end of the day, yeah, I'm not against it when it comes to like birth defects, disadvantages like Down syndrome, or like girls that were raped. I don't think they should be forced to raise the kid. And if someone is evil or whatever it may be, as for lack of a better word, I think that genetic disposition can be passed on. So it's probably not best to have that kid anyway. But yeah, it gets into a very grey area. So yeah, it's like a slippery slope. Because let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. What is your thoughts on abortion? Do you think that it should be allowed in circumstances? Like, for example, rape. Or birth defects, for example. Or do you think it should be just outright banned? And that if babies are born with birth defects or deformed or rape babies or whatever, that women should be forced to bear these babies. I really don't support that, because at the end of the day, she's going to have a constant reminder of this traumatic experience. And there's no way she's going to love that baby unconditionally. If you've had to raise a kid from being raped, there is going to be a small part of you, at least in some point, that is going to sit there and think, you are a product of the worst night of my life. So that's why I sort of say, well, hang on, maybe rape is okay, and birth defects. We all don't want, 12-arm babies or whatever. But let me know your thoughts are in the comment section below. Apart from that, guys, obviously this video has been helpful. Please smack a like. If you're new to the channel, welcome and subscribe. Apart from that, guys, I'll see you in the next demonetized video from YouTube. Have a great day and enjoy.